Can we start now? Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. This is our group. Our group is going to present on our campaign is basically domestic violence in marriage. So I'm going to explain in like few details. Basically, in Malaysia, there's a lot of cases that be reported domestic violence in marriage itself. Whereby this year itself from 2020 and 2021, earlier this year, over 9,000 cases being reported on domestic violence regardless of gender and age. Um, also men and women are involved in this domestic violence details. And on the statistic itself, they mentioned that 1/4 a woman being involved in domestic violence in Malaysia, and 1/6 of men also involved in domestic violence. So our today we're going to see here our PowerPoint is going to more presenting on the man perspective also, because we doesn't want to left out our male victims in these issues. And I will move and give the presentation to other group members on to further details.
Hello, Ain Syafiqa. My name is Nurwatiqah, and I'll be expanding on our objective for this campaign. So, the main objective of our campaign is to shed light on domestic abuse that is going on in a marriage, no matter the gender. So, it is also to help victims of domestic violence to reach out and seek help. After that, it is to educate and spread awareness regarding domestic abuse. So, I'll pass it to my friend to further discuss this matter.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Aina Nafisah and I'll be presenting on the target audience of our project. So there are three main criteria, audience that we wish to engage in. The first one is married couples, young adults and children, and also couples in relationship. So the main reason we choose this group of people is to help them identify forms of abuse, because sometimes victims are not aware that they are being abused, and it is not merely to spread awareness. However, presenting a united front against domestic violence is essential to prevent and collective healing. The more light we shed on the truth, the more we can wash out misinformation and misconceptions on domestic violence. Empathetic people supporting survivors will let abusers know and loud and clear that we will not allow domestic violence to go in any way or form. So I'll pass this presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jerusha from Muninsamy, and I'll be presenting on the benefit of the campaign itself. So basically, the main benefit of the campaign is for us to raise awareness, definitely, towards the public at large regarding domestic violence, because the main perception, as said by my members earlier on, that the main perception is that it only happens to a certain gender or vulnerable individuals. So most importantly, from our video, you can see that we have swapped the gender, where in this scenario, the male is now being abused in the relationship and the female is the abuser. So it in Malaysia, particularly elsewhere, even globally, people would think that men are strong, they are not under the criteria of one vulnerable individual because they are masculine. But this is the most misconception that people have. Anyone actually can be a victim of an abuse in a particular relationship. So the main advantage of this campaign is to not allow people to invalidate the experience of the victims, even if it is a masculine man. So this is also for us to allow people to understand that domestic violence is not just issue when it is related to female or children, but it can also be an issue when it is in regards to men or male. So people aren't aware of the fact that controlling a person too much is also an abuse, as what has been shown in the video just now. So with this campaign, we expect that the public at large would be educated and will be able to reflect on themselves. So in most cases, we don't realize that we are in an abusive relationship or we are abusing someone else. with this sort of awareness, when you watch videos, when you watch movies, we are more inclined to understand and realize that, oh, I have been in this sort of situation, and they realize that they have been abused. So this is the main target, or this is the main advantage that we want to achieve, which we want to make sure that people who are in this situation realize that they have been abused. And with this, we hope that this video will be reaching more people, to ensure that each person who watches it will also be more aware of it and will know of the steps that they can take if they are ever in this position, as what we have already highlighted in the video itself. That is all from me. I'll pass to the next member.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Loviena, and I'll be explaining on how our campaign to be reached to the public. So basically, in order to ensure that the campaign is reached to the public, we believe that by using social media, it can be spread quickly and widely in the communities across the states, nations, and territories. So this is because social media is a powerful tool to start a grassroots campaign, as it is a potent platform that would reach out across all media channels, regardless of location, and raise awareness about domestic violence. So the social media that we're going to use is Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. This will be served as a platform to disseminate information, challenge, and change the community perceptions about domestic violence. Not only that, by using social media, it also allows the opportunities for repeated viewing and distribution, as people would tend to share and distribute to the public on what they had seen online. For instance, there are many campaigns that has also used social media as a tool to spread the awareness of their campaign, such as previous campaign of Black Lives Matter. So the hashtag of Black Lives Matter has been spreading widely across the world via Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and public has eventually become aware of what has been going on as people keep sharing and distribute the information online. So we're hoping that our campaign will be looking like the scenario also. So apart from that, we also believe that by using social media, it will help the victim to facilitate a connection to the outside world that is likely or severely lacking in the victim's life. This is because, as we all well aware, that the victim of domestic violence tend to isolate themselves from the public. So the message of campaign posted online in the social media will indirectly helping those victims to build up courage for them to seek for help and speak up for themselves. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tim, okay, for your presentation today. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give one question, but I need all of you to answer the question. Yeah. So for this PEC 700, we have learned, you have go through a lot of activities, yeah, weekly activities on the project and so on. So what have you learned throughout the activity? So who wants to start first?
I learned that Mimi.
Okay.
So from all the activities, I learned the first was probably, of course, I learned how to communicate well with my friends. And second, I learned how to use multiple online IT platforms. So I can do my work better and see what I like to use and what I don't really like to use. So it's better for me, and I can also ask people on how to make it better, or how to tone down and everything. So that's from me. I'll pass it to someone else.
Me next, madam. Okay, so from what I learned in PEC 700 is that, as my friend previously mentioned, is that communication. But for me, I also learned more about teamwork skills and how to, as you know, using these online tools. Some of us are not familiar with it, but through this subject, I learned more and I know how to improve it. Before this, I only know certain part in Powtoon, and I've never used what you call it, the storyboard. So from this, I learned a lot about technologies. Thank you.
I will go next. Okay, like just like my group member said, we learn a lot. Almost about those other aspect of teamwork and also communication. Other than that, basically, the most thing I learned from this subject will be the online tools. The access to online tools is almost limitless, but some of them might be unfriendly or like really unfamiliar for me, and sometimes I got like difficulties on it too, which it can be overcome over time. And also those online tools are really interesting for me because some of them I never really use it. And then even the online tools I already used, there are like other features too that I never discovered before. So that's what I do.
I'll go next. Based on what I've learned throughout the whole PC 700 is basically definitely IT skills. I do feel like I lack in IT skills a lot. The only platform that I am confident is Canva. But even that, I realized that during the activities, there are a lot of shortcuts in how to use it. I only thought that you can use it for posters. I didn't know that they had template for logos as well. So that was something new. As also mentioned by members just now about storyboardthat.com, it was very difficult for me to use at first, but once I get the hang of it, I realized that it was actually easy. But in order to use an IT tool, the moment we are familiarized with all the settings, the icons, then we'll be able to do it. So I realized that throughout this whole PC 700, when it comes to IT skills, it is only hard when you do not know how to use it. But the moment you explore, it will be much easier for us to use. So that is with me as well. Aside from IT tools, I also learned about communication and teamwork, since a lot of weekly activities we have to deal with one another. So I also learned how to tolerate one another and how to communicate in a better way. So all in all, I learned about communication skills, teamwork skills, and also IT skills. That is all from me. Thank you.
For me, I have learned a lot of things throughout the activities conducted, especially in terms of IT skill, of course. I am now able to learn a lot of new online tools. For example, storyboardthat.com, as mentioned of my previous members, and then Canva, especially Powtoon, and many more IT online tool. Besides, I also able to further enhance and practice my IT skills in using several other online tools, and it is definitely going to be a useful online tool that is going to be used for me in the future. Apart from that, our campaign is about domestic violence, so I have learned a lot of new knowledges in regards of this issue, because academic is one thing, but current issue is also important, as important as academic. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, team. You can actually stop recording.